annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A notion about the commotion. I'm Chris Davis. That is at Tuesday night's Kern County Board of Education meeting, where one guy was given the heave-ho by security. The fight was over PragerU, a conservative-leaning nonprofit, and whether they would be allowed to present some of their educational materials to students at Kern County schools. Some people felt they could potentially be promoting a religion. The board has not made a decision. Some state lawmakers want to see Kathy Scrivener, wife of former Kern County Supervisor Zach.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Just to give you a heads up,
Yeah.
we got adaptive right away in the first break.
Okay.
So if you want to pull out the copy points.
He sexually abused a young girl while he was high on drugs. A son of hell, or rather a member of the Sons of Hell motorcycle gang, Joshua Vaughn, has gotten a 6-year prison sentence for his involvement in an assault and his affiliation with a group that police say had about 25 illegal guns and ammunition when they were busted last year. Vaughn is a repeat offender and got his sentence doubled because of the 3 strikes law. Several quakes reported in California Tuesday by the U.S. Geological Survey. They were a 2.7 magnitude quake recorded northwest of San Simeon at 5:07 a.m., a 3.1 west of Johannesburg at 12:20 p.m., a 4.4 recorded southeast of Willits at 1:10 p.m., a 2.7 recorded north of Moreno Valley at 1:33 p.m. No injuries or damage reported. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
The radio station?
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing, for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, 14th day of January. Despite the fact that you got to come in here and correct the date, Chris. I'm pretty sure I put the 13th on the deal.
Oh, they'll see it's live. I won't be able to actually fix it until the end of the show. I can't fix it.
Yeah, today's the 14th.
Yeah, today is the 14th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the 13th.
They'll see it's live. There's a little live button in the corner.
Yeah, but we do have to correct it just in case people want to go back.
Yes, no, I'll fix it at the end of the show.
Okay. Got a great show for you on this Wednesday. As most of you probably know by now, Shannon Grove is leading a charge to have criminal charges assessed against Kathy Scrivener after Mr. Flores and I absolutely broke this story wide open. JR, well, I'll explain how we've done it. We'll get into that in just a second. The president has lost Joe Rogan on the immigration issue. He has come out and spoken that, and even making comparisons to Nazi Germany in terms of how ICE agents are going at it. We'll talk about that. Howard Marcus will join us at the top of the hour. And the Busfield story gets even more interesting, talking about Timothy Busfield, the actor from 30-something, ER, Field of Dreams, and even The Revenge of the Nerds as a young teenager. We'll talk about that and how his wife, Melissa Gilbert, who starred on Little House on the Prairie as a child and became president of the Screen Actors Guild for a little bit, how she may be implicated as well. And there's new evidence in this case that we'll present for you. And I've got a segment at 5:15. We need a name for this, Chris.
Okay.
Where I've assembled several comedians that I want to play.
Okay.
Particularly this one cat that I had never heard of.
What's the name?
Ben, please stand by. And he makes jokes, and this is recent, obviously. He is making jokes about the Renee Good incident. And shockingly, the audience is laughing and is on his side. Ben Bankus, Bankas. And well, here, let me give you just a little taste of what I'm talking about. I'll play this later, and there's another one that I'll play. But listen, I don't know. I found it funny. You may not, but here's.
Now for a moment of silence for Renee Good. Really hope that dog's okay. And her pet.
You get that?
It's what you don't want when you're dealing with the police, your lesbian wife. Drive, baby, drive. Oh. Yeah, her last name was Good. That's what I said after they shot her in the face. Oh. Renee, Good. She's dead. No, I joke. I honestly, I'm not a liberal, so I don't celebrate the death of people that I didn't hate her. I didn't know her. I mean, now that I know her, I hated her. But that's the left's Charlie Kirk. They're going to get shirts. I am Renee Good. I am a dumb, retarded lesbian. Get your shirts right now. BenBankus.com. I mean, if you watch the footage, she should have been shot 10 minutes before that. The way she was acting, driving around with cops, and they gave her a break. They didn't shoot her right away because they're like, oh, she's a dumb, crazy, retarded lesbian. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's white, so she's never committed a crime before. Right? They gave her the benefit of the doubt at the beginning. Like, just get out of here, come on. And then she...
I don't know. There's part of me that feels really uncomfortable with that, but I think that's part of the humor.
Yeah, there's always a level to that.
Yeah. Wow. And the fact that the crowd was with him, that nobody was like, hey, what's the matter with you? That they, I don't know, but I've got some other stuff that we're going to play at 5:15, and we'll talk a little sports at 5:30. Tiger Woods has spoken out. We had Nick Ragone on the show yesterday to talk about Brooks Koepka coming back from LIV to the PGA Tour, and others like Bryson DeChambeau and others that might apply. You'll hear from Tiger Woods, who was on the board. Nick Ragone had it right. Obviously, this guy is a genius. That Tiger was instrumental in reaching out to these guys and getting them back and trying to set up guidelines to return some of the players.
I did some research on that as well. I don't know
Yeah.
if you and Nick mentioned the amount of money Brooks is going to have to pay. Do you know how much he has to pay?
What was he going to pay?
So ESPN reported that he has to make a $5 million donation to a charity.
Nice.
And then he's actually blanked from pretty much any major money situation that he can get, like the yearly $100 million surplus. He can't get any of that. He's going to be missing out on potentially $50 to $85 million this year, depending on how good he does.
Crazy.
It's incredible.
Crazy. And you'll hear from Art Rooney II, the grandson, I believe, of Art Rooney, the original owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, doing their Chuck Noll, Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw heyday on the departure of Mike Tomlin. Remember, I put it in air quotes that he stepped aside, but Art Rooney, as you'll hear later in the broadcast, confirms that Rooney says, I expected to talk about next season with Mike, and he came to our office and said, I'm done. You'll hear that, and I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes to get to. Some incredible audio that I cannot wait to play for you, where Josh Hawley, Senator Hawley, is talking to a physician, an OBGYN, and asking her, can a man get pregnant? And I'm sure by now you have deduced how she answered. It is shockingly remarkable. An OBGYN, a professor at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, a woman who's on a fellowship, I believe, at Emory, and you'll be stunned at her answer. But we begin, obviously, with the Kathy Scrivener story, which is raging. And again, I'm sorry, we do a lot of advertising for our sponsors, but we rarely advertise for us. Well, I'm going to advertise for us because J.R. Flores and I have absolutely owned this story and has absolutely driven the story. It began with J.R. being the sole person in this community, not any of the television stations, certainly not the Bakersfield Californian, which I'll get to in just a second. No one asked for the body cam video of the deputies in Tehachapi that infamous day other than Mr. Flores. And then off of that, I asked the sheriff about it. He quoted some of the audio, and I had him on Monday, and every news station in town has been running with it. We were in the Los Angeles Times, we were in the New York Post, and now legislators are becoming aware of that. And let me just read to you what Shannon Grove placed on her Facebook page and is released to the media. It is long past time for appropriate charges to be filed and meaningful penalties imposed, not only against Zach Scrivener, but against Kathy Scrivener as well. The Kern County Sheriff has described body camera footage on the Ralph Bailey Show. Well, I put that in. The sheriff has described body camera footage that outlines the egregious allegations against Zach Scrivener and reportedly shows Kathy Scrivener impeding the criminal investigation and encouraging her grandchildren not to cooperate with law enforcement. As a mandated reporter and an elected official entrusted with protecting the best interest of children, her actions represent a complete failure of her duty. She must step down without delay to restore public trust. It appears the Attorney General's office failed to file proper charges in this case, exposing serious flaws in our justice system and raising troubling questions about favoritism toward elected officials. I am working on legislation to address these failures and ensure greater accountability moving forward. Good for you, Shannon Grove, because what you don't know is I'm almost certain at some juncture, Kathy Scrivener and Shannon Grove were friends. And this shows the courage and decency in Shannon Grove that we're dealing with children. And without naming names, this is why I was so disappointed in one of our regulars who knows Kathy Scrivener and refused to make any kind of statement toward her culpability in this. And it's really about, this whole story really is about the Scriveners for children and what they went through that day and providing them with some sense of justice. These kids are going to grow up one day. This thing ain't going to go away. when they're in their teenage years, the younger kids, when they're in their teenage years, and when the older boys are young adults, these things are going to be on the internet. These things will be available for them to be aware of. You don't think if you were one of the Scrivener children, you're 12 years old right now, you're telling me 4, 5, 6 years from now, you wouldn't dig through the news and find out what was going on back then? How was this handled? Because I'm assuming the family has kept them shaded to some degree. But you know how children can be, teasing. You don't think there's one child that they go to school with that's aware of what's going on, that heard their parents talk about this and what these kids must be going through? And any adult that doesn't help us with the justice for these children should be vilified, including Kathy Scrivener's board trustee colleagues who, despite my erroneous prediction that the Monday KHSD meeting would be dominated with questions to Kathy Scrivener, I overplayed my hand because it hadn't been inundated in the media as it has been now Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. This was Monday when I made that prediction, that tonight's meeting on Monday was going to be packed. They're going to grill Kathy Scrivener about this. Well, I was wrong, because my audience, as large as it is, can't compare to 17's audience, can't compare to 23's audience. Radio can't compete with television. Maybe in the 1950s, but not in 2025. But now it's all over television. We were the lead on the 6 o'clock news yesterday. I think we were the second or third story. They ran it again on their noon. 23 has run the story. And of course, well, we'll get to the California when we come back. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. And I've got some audio I want to play to make a point about how woefully this county is covered by our local newspaper. It is, as a former journalist who used to work there as a staff writer, it is stunning that our 5-day-a-week newspaper is 2, 3, 4 weeks behind J.R. Flores and Ralph Bailey. And as, self-aggrandizing as that may sound, it is what it is. It really is. It's amazing. And don't forget, when the Channel 17 reporter attended Monday's meeting and asked Kathy Scrivener about this, her quote was, "I don't know anything about that," about the discrepancy between what the deputies said she said and what she claimed to say. Remember, if there's any of all the cliches that you've heard me use that I say is associated to this show, the one thesis that I think represents me in this broadcast is it's never, ever the error you make in life. Because if it were, we'd all be screwed. We'd all be in trouble because we're all flawed and we all make errors. It's how you handle the error. And I can attribute that to Ralph Bailey, but he has an SR after his name. I've got a JR after mine. I got that from my dad at like the age of 12. Son, it's not the error you make, because you make a lot of them, but it's how you handle it. And as error prone as you are, you better learn how to handle errors. Had Kathy Scrivener just walked away from this thing and kept her big bazoo shut, she might not be in the trouble she's in. But she had to refute Sheriff Youngblood's deputies. He was forced to defend his people. And Papajenko, look what we got. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. Howard Marcus will join us at 4 o'clock. We'll talk about the Iranian situation and a whole lot more. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a hump day Wednesday, 14th day of January, regardless of what the YouTube screen may say. They can't see that till the end of the show, huh?
No, it's there.
Oh, the data's up there?
Yeah, it says 13. I'm looking right at it.
Okay. All right. Let's get going. TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, Trump making some big moves when it comes to enforcing immigration law, including the possibility of cutting off sanctuary cities from federal funds. This is a big one. We'll discuss that, plus the latest inside of Iran. Is a counter-revolution afoot? What's Trump going to do, if anything? We'll discuss that and more on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, when your business technology breaks down, you need help fast, and you need it from people who understand your local market. And nobody knows that better than American General Media, a radio station who doesn't have time for their IT team to say, yeah, we'll get on that tomorrow. We need it immediately. That's why we have teamed up with Adaptive Networks. Adaptive Networks isn't some faceless call center in another state. They're right here in our community. In fact, they're right across the parking lot, if you want to know the truth, with local technicians who know Kern County businesses inside and out. While other IT companies make you wait hours or even days for support, Adaptive Networks delivers lightning fast response times. We're talking minutes, not hours, because when your systems are down, every minute counts. And again, when ours is down, you hear dead air. That's why we rely on Adaptive Networks. Call them today at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
If the power goes out in the middle of winter, do you have a way to stay warm? If not, you need the Vesta off-grid space heater from My Patriot Supply. It's compact, safe to use indoors, and best of all, it doesn't need electricity. Right now, you can get a free Vesta and other bonus gifts when you order the Winter Survival Kit from My Patriot Supply. Just go to MyPatriotSupply.com to see everything included. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Norma Diaz, owner of La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream.
Hi, I'm Norma Diaz from La Rosa Fruit Bars and Ice Cream, and I'm a client and friend of Paul Sheldon. I've known Paul for many, many years, and my parents happened to be his first clients. So, of course, I called Paul and immediately felt this peace come over me, knowing that I didn't have to freak out about making a big decision. His knowledge about Medicare and your health insurance needs are beyond compare, and I was taken care of immediately by his wonderful staff. He knew everything that I needed and what I wouldn't need, so I was pretty much in and out of there in record time. If you're getting to that age or you're going to be needing to know about Medicare, then he's the one to call. He will totally help you out and get you pointed in the right direction. You're going to leave there feeling a great accomplishment and no concerns. And even if you have questions later, his staff can help you out. Those feelings are just priceless to me. So call Paul. You'll be glad you did.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hurry now. No, you just have to wait. 812-537-6842 KERN. I don't have time to get into this. I got to do it at the bottom of the hour. Do you have any text messages we can fill for a couple of minutes?
I actually don't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. God dang it. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I got 3 minutes and that's not going to be enough time. Maybe I should play some of my comedy stuff. Let me, there's
So
another.
who all is on this list too? Because we do have to figure out a name here.
For the bit?
Yeah.
It's just random comedians. Like once you start following one comedian, then they start feeding you this. This is another inappropriate joke that I thought was absolute. I think I might have played this before.
Should I have my hand ready?
No. There's no.
Okay.
Elevator.
Hang on.
A white older lady gets on the elevator with me, and all of a sudden she clutches her purse. it made me feel some type of way, and then it made the whole situation uncomfortable because I'm pulling, she's pulling, I'm pulling, she's pulling, I'm pulling. Just let go of the purse.
Sorry. No?
That was pretty good.
I thought that was hilarious. I didn't know anywhere where that was going.
I do have a text that just came through.
All right, what do you got?
You can disregard authority and protest in Iran, and Trump's got your back, but you do it in the U.S., and you're a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, if you run into an ICE agent who suffered internal bleeding, that's what the DHS is reporting, that Jonathan Roth, the man that first we were told was never struck by the vehicle, then we were told it was his fault because he was in front of the vehicle. Then we saw his video where he was not in front of the vehicle. He had circled the vehicle, and it was at an angle as he came up, and then it turned toward him. And now, again, as I said, DHS is reporting he suffered internal bleeding from the incident. So where are you, Democrats, on this? Was he struck? Was he not struck? Was he injured? That idiot Minneapolis mayor said that it was like he'd been hit with a refrigerator door after he had told us that he wasn't struck. That's what Jim Fry said the very first day. He was never struck. I've seen the video. I even said that. I'm sure Howard's going to take a victory lap. We talked to him at the top of the hour because I argued with Howard, who had seen the third segment. There were 3 videos, and I had only seen the first 2, and Howard had seen the third. And I was like, I argued with Howard. I said, Howard, I didn't see him get hit. And I went home that night, and I didn't get it from Howard. By the way, Howard, whatever you sent me, I couldn't pull up. I don't know why, but I did find that third video, which clearly showed he got clipped. And then we saw his video, Jonathan Ross's video, where you hear him. Oh! And now DHS is telling the man suffered internal bleeding. So in 2 separate incidents, one ICE agent had 33 stitches from being dragged by one of these ICE watchers. And in an incident where he was not hit, he suffered internal bleeding.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Many Verizon customers are experiencing a major outage on Wednesday, disrupting calling and cellular services across the U.S. The New York-based carrier has acknowledged an issue impacting wireless voice and data services. Verizon hasn't specified the outage's cause, but says engineering teams are working to resolve it. Outage tracker down detectors showed that reports peaked in the early afternoon and remained elevated later in the day. The State Department says it will suspend the processing of immigrant visas for citizens of 75 countries whose nationals are deemed likely to require public assistance while living in the United States. The department said Wednesday it had instructed consular offices to halt immigrant visa applications from the countries affected. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. A meeting of the Kern County Board of Education got tense, and someone had to be escorted out Tuesday night. The debate was over whether conservative nonprofit PragerU would be allowed to put some of their educational materials in Kern County schools. No decision was made by the board. Some state lawmakers have made it known they'd like to see former Kern County Supervisor Zach Scribner's wife charged after comments made by Sheriff Donnie Youngblood indicated on KERN Monday she may have tried to dissuade 2 boys from talking to cops during the investigation that led to her husband's arrest in 2024 on an accusation of sexual abuse of a child. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. If you're eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. You know, for years, I've been telling you QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544 and let us help you understand your options for 2026. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs and meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
My name is Ariel. When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without my high school diploma. My entire life changed when I took a chance and got my high school diploma at age 22. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers. They were with me every step of the way, helping with my English and math, making sure I push through all the challenges.
Ariel, your success proves that what I'm doing as a teacher has real meaning.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Sweet.
California dreaming. Remember I asked you about Mama Cass?
Yeah.
She's part of this group.
That's why I figured you meant by Mama Cass.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize. I didn't know how she died. That's the thing.
Oh, I know the Mamas and the Papas?
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? So now, I just wanted to highlight something kind of shocking to me, at least. I don't know if you guys saw the front page of the Bakersfield Californian today, where their top of the fold, top of the paper headline was, and I'm not kidding, if you haven't seen it already, Youngblood defends Zimmer for 9-1 for call. I can't read my own damn writing. I got to get some glasses. Youngblood defends Zimmer for not called 911 in Scrivener incident. I've got the headline wrong, but basically they're pointing out that the sheriff exonerated Cynthia Zimmer. They're reporting that today, the 14th of January on a Wednesday. Now we've had the sheriff on twice in the last month?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easily.
And the first time we had him on was about a month ago.
I wouldn't even say that far back, but yeah.
And even then, that's when he exonerated Cynthia Zimmer, did he not?
He did. Yes.
In fact, we alluded to it yesterday in talking with Teresa Golder. And yet, the Bakersfield Californian comes on and splashes it on their front page as if it's news. You can go back. If you think I'm making this up, you can go back on YouTube, not to our most recent interview with the sheriff, which in fact he reiterated his defense of Cynthia Zimmer. But we're talking about weeks ago, the sheriff came on this show and made it clear that Cynthia Zimmer did nothing wrong. And he even pointed out, Ralph, I've heard you attack Cynthia Zimmer's phone call to me as being inappropriate. It wasn't. He said, I get phone calls from many different people about incidents. It was completely appropriate. She did nothing wrong. She didn't ask me to do anything. And the Bakersfield Californian put that on their front page today as if it were news. That's where our local newspaper is in terms of covering the news. And they've yet to get to the Scrivener story. They'll get to it eventually. They're going to have to eventually. And it's going to break their heart to have to attribute to either Mr. Flores or to me. But come on. Good God Almighty. Catch up. Would you please? And the next KHSD meeting is going to be fascinating. It truly is. Again, I overplayed my cards predicting that there would be outcry on Monday. And the only thing I can attribute that to was ego, where I thought, everybody in this county is listening to my story and they're going to go run to this meeting. No, the show was over at 6 o'clock. The meeting started at 6 o'clock. How in the world can anybody that was at that meeting truly know what was going on with Kathy Scrivener and the allegations by Donnie Youngblood? Well, not allegations, the statements made by our sheriff. But now the television has got a hold of it, just about every station. I don't watch KBAK, but 23 has got a hold of it. 29's got a hold of it. The Los Angeles Times has got a hold of it. The New York Post has got a hold of it. This thing is going viral. And again, the fact that a friend of Kathy Scrivener's, Shannon Grove, has come out categorically and said she needs to be charged is gargantuan. Gargantuan. And of course, and I hate to have to do this because I want to see David Valadao reelected, but kudos to Jasmeet Bains, who we know also is working on either getting the AG to re-examine this thing or to call in the feds and the Department of Justice.
When you charge charges and you leave out the sexual abuse charges, you're creating a loophole for someone to get a pretrial mental health diversion.
She has dubbed it the Epstein loophole. That is genius. And she is reiterating what we have been saying for months, that the Attorney General's office, for whatever reason, I can't figure out the motive. And we probably will never know the motive because the Attorney General's office refuses to release the conversations or the memos or any type of transcripts involving the decision that they made to create this lane for mental diversion for Zach Scrivener. So we'll never know the motive, but you don't have to be a first-year law student. You don't have to pass the bar to understand just how badly they have wrecked this case. Absolutely wrecked it, as if they didn't want Zach Scrivener to go to jail. They selected a ridiculous charge. They did not refute H.A. Sala's forensic psychologist, and they have just absolutely gone apoplectic after the fact, putting up this front as if they're astonished that somehow this man got mental diversion. How could you do this, Judge? How could you do this? You didn't charge him correctly. That's how. What was the judge supposed to do? As we've talked about time and time again, you really think that the judge was going to overturn Sala's psychologist? What kind of responsible justice is that? Where the judge is going to say, well, we've had one forensic psychologist that says he's nuts, but I'm going to overrule her. And I'm going to throw him in jail, despite the AG's office offering no type of rebuttal. And this recent call for Zach Scrivener, or for Kathy Scrivener, for Kathy Scrivener to be charged with obstruction of justice, good on Shannon Grove, but that's an old story. Here's a Flores promo that's been running how long, Chris?
Well, it's gone now, but it was running for a couple weeks.
Hit it.
Former Kern County Supervisor Zach Scrivener will never see a day in jail, and it's all because of who he knows. His aunt is the district attorney, Cynthia Zimmer, but her sister, Kathy Scrivener, sits on the Kern High School District Board. She's the one that called the district attorney the night this all went down, and she's been trying to cover it up ever since, whether she's mad at her sister now for calling the sheriff or whether she's telling the kids to not talk to the police. You, Miss Kathy Scrivener, need to step down from your elected position and need to be held on obstruction charges.
We're beating politicians. We beat Baines, he beat Grove. But again, I'm applauding Shannon for stepping out and speaking out, and in particular, given her friendship with the Scrivener family. Shows guts. And that's why Shannon Grove is beloved in this community. If there's anything that she has shown as a veteran, she's got guts. And she's willing to stand up for what is right, no matter who gets in the way, no matter what the relationship is with the folks that are surrounding this issue. It is about those 4 children of the Scriveners who will probably most likely be traumatized by this in some way for the rest of their lives. Let's all pray, get down on our hands and knees that they can get past this. The therapy and the love of her mother and Christina's side of the family can, circle the wagons and make them understand that they're loved, that just, people go astray, even father figures. And, my best hope is that Christina remarries and there's a new father image in that home that can direct these 4 kids through their adulthood. I think the oldest is about to go to college, I do believe. And don't forget about Lauren Skidmore and the Open Door Network. She's got a petition out on change.org. It's in the thousands now. And this is part of the momentum. We've got Jasmine Baines with us. We've got David Faladeo with us. We've got Vince Fong with us. We've got Shannon Grove with us. So where are Kathy Scrivener's fellow trustees on this issue? Isn't it irresponsible for them to sit up there with her knowing what's going on? And if the public isn't going to ask this question, why aren't they? When a local beloved politician is not only saying that she should be charged criminally, but saying that she should immediately step down from KHSD. And remember what she said as she snuck out the back door, as it was described by the 17 reporter, when he finally did catch up with her before she got to her car. He asked her, what about the sheriff saying you lied? She said, I don't know anything about that. Well, you do now, Mrs. Scrivener. And unfortunately, I think there's going to be hell to pay. I really do. And this is why I disagreed with Teresa Goldner yesterday, because as, I don't want to use the word innocent, but as unculpable, I don't know what the word correctly is, but as unscathed as Cynthia Zimmer should be, because technically she did nothing wrong, I think she's got paint all over her from this stuff. I really do. Teresa yesterday told us that Cynthia Zimmer will be reelected, and she hopes she will be. Ain't no way. And I have, again, as I've said repeatedly, I owe the DA's office an incredible sense of gratitude. I went through something I'm not going to repeat, the deal with the jaw and being attacked at a restaurant, and they busted their hump to find the guy that attacked me. They busted their hump to prosecute him. He did 2 years. And Tristan O'Neill, one of my advocates, could not have been nicer to me. And I suppose I would vote for Cynthia Zimmer if she ran again. But even for me, someone who is in debt to her, there's just a bad taste in my mouth about this whole thing, despite the sheriff's exoneration, which the Bakersfield Californian found out about apparently yesterday. And yet we've been talking about it for weeks upon weeks. It's just a 5-day-a-week newspaper. It is amazing. It really is. Let's go ahead and take a break. Come right back. Howard Marcus is going to join us at the top of the hour. I've got an incredible bit of audio that was cut today from a Senate hearing in which a physician, an OBGYN, a professor at Emory University, answer the question, can men have a baby? And you know what? I don't know why I'm shocked. If there is a Supreme Court justice sitting on the Supreme Court right now, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who in her confirmation hearings couldn't define what a woman is, are we really shocked that a doctor, yeah, that's why we're shocked. That's why I'm shocked. A doctor, an OBGYN, could not answer the question, can men have babies? That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Or binaries, or can I call you ladies and gentlemen? What is a lady and a gentleman? Unbelievable. Quick break, coming right back. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. It's TRBS on a Wednesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1, AM 1180, KRN, streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.
Casey.
RN.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The ladies at KC Steakhouse are hard at work. They took a little respite from the holidays, but they've been back in work since, since Friday, so it's almost been a week. So get into KC Steakhouse and enjoy the greatest steak you're going to have. It's your vote that cast them as the best steakhouse in Kern County in a recent Bakersfield, California poll. And don't forget about the Stockyard next door, where there's live music from my girl Vanessa and Lottie, and of course Jimmy and Bobby are providing live music in the main restaurant on Tuesday through Saturday. And again, what I try to stress as much as I possibly can is the variety of the menu. Not everybody, when you go in a large group, is feeling steak, and that's why they have unbelievable chicken dishes. The Ralph Bailey, that's all you got to ask for, is the Ralph Bailey, that chicken breast covered in that mushroom and spinach sauce, and of course the fish dishes as well. KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Byrna was recently ranked number 10 on Forbes' list of the 100 most successful small-cap American companies in 2025, a recognition earned by solving real problems for real people. Byrna is proudly hand-assembled in the United States, right in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Our mission is simple, designed to stop, not kill. That's BYRNA. As the world leader in less lethal personal defense, Byrna creates launchers for everyone in the family. The newest Byrna Compact is small enough to fit in a pocket or purse, yet powerful enough to deliver real stopping power out to 60 feet. It gives you the confidence to defuse a dangerous situation without resorting to lethal force. Every family should have a Byrna within reach. It fires potent kinetic, tear gas, and pepper ammo rounds that can disable an attacker for up to 40 minutes. Law enforcement agencies across the country rely on Byrna. No background checks, no permits, legal in all 50 states, ships right to your door. Visit Byrna.com today and find the right launcher for your family. That's BYRNA.com.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus installed over 1 million square feet of flooring last year alone. Over 20 years of Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Eight four two 5376 842 KERN. I just got a text message. Somebody said they're trying to call into the show and claiming it's just ringing. I get that a lot. Our phones are funky.
They really are.
They really, really are. So
really, I mean, just pulling back the curtain here a little bit. This thing only lights up maybe 2, 3 at a time.
Yeah.
So, like, if you guys all compile on top of each other, some of you get blocked.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of calls because of some stuff with our news guy that we were trying to fix right now as well. So,
what's going on with that?
Oh, he made a flub again and said that Kathy Scrivener was Zach's wife. Yeah, so
that's not funny.
We are aware of it, and we are fixing it as we speak. So we appreciate all the listeners texting in and calling now.
Yeah, I lost her. I lost the message.
Whomever is texting Ralph, though, we are open at the moment, so feel free to call in. I'm pretty sure you'll get there this time.
Yeah, and I gave her my phone number, but I lost her text somehow. Oh well. 842-5376, 842 KERN. What do you got on the board?
Let's not forget the school district and board has a duty to launch an investigation into the matter. If they don't, then they condone it, and that can be used in the future lawsuits to prove a tolerance for child abuse.
Oof. Yeah, this is pretty doggone serious. You know, and again, like I said, Ms. Scrivener just walked away, but she put the sheriff in an untenable situation, and there's only one thing that never lies. What never lies, Chris Burdick, your communications major? What never lies?
Numbers.
True that. What else?
Video, audio.
Video and audio. Never lies. Never lies. And the sheriff was quoting video and audio from his deputies. So she's in a tough spot. She is in a tough spot. And I wish I could say I could understand a mother's love, you know, but as I've told you, I was raised differently. I was raised by a pair of parents who told me at 13, 14, when I started to get a little mischievous, like when they got back from Jamaica and I had been detained for operating a backhoe where the Fox Hills Mall now exists. And they took me, I was the youngest, so I was the last one to operate the backhoe. And all my friends ran, and I thought they were afraid of me running them over. And then Officer Bouchot, I will never forget it, African-American gentleman and a brown sheriff deputy tapped me on the shoulder as I'm driving, and I'm like, holy cow. I'm about 13, 14, and he never cuffed me, put me in the backseat of his squad car, took me to the Lenox station on Hawthorne Boulevard, and my grandmother had to drive up and pick me up in tears the whole way to come get me, in tears when she got to the jail, and in tears all the way back as I pleaded with her not to tell my parents. And when she did tell my parents, my father sat me down and said, look, had we been home, your butt would still be at the Lenox station. I ain't coming to get you if you get caught up in jail. And it just seems to me that a grandmother's focus should not be on her son who has lost his way, but in defense of her grandchildren. Isn't that just nature? You know, in fact, if it were my family, I would want to go to jail because my mother would have showed up in the house and been like, boy, what is wrong messing with my grandchildren? What is wrong with you? But instead, it seems, based on audio and video, that Mrs. Scrivener chose her son over her grandchildren. That is mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. And then to try to claim that the deputies lied? And to walk out that meeting Monday night and telling Channel 17, I don't know what you're talking about. Really? This hasn't been on your mind? She has to know she was caught in a lie. And she claims she didn't know anything about it? Let me tell you something. If I knew I lied to the cops, and I knew that 2 radio talk show hosts were talking about it, and it was being picked up by the New York Post and the LA Times, I'd know a little bit about it, as Leonard Skinner once sang. I'd know a lot about it, and I would be concerned. But apparently, that entitlement, just, I don't know anything about it. I'm going to show up to the meeting. I don't give a damn. Well, let's see if she shows up in February. Let's see what happens in February. But because by then, Lauren Skidmore's petition is going to be perhaps in the tens of thousands, or maybe not in the tens, it'll be 5 figures. I'd be willing to bet by February she's got about 10,000 signatures on this thing. As I have redundantly said, I've been here 33 years come this year. And I have never, ever, we've seen some different issues, annexation and the sewer thing and just all kind of different issues. But I've never seen one issue where there has been the massive consensus that exists about the AG and their handling of this thing and Mrs. Scrivener's handling of her grandchildren. I've never seen a consensus where just about everybody. JR told me that Cindy called and was defending Mrs. Scrivener. Come on, Cindy, you're a grandmother. Really? Really? You think she needs a pass? You think it's right? And they keep talking about this mandated reporter. I almost cursed. What the hell does that have to do with anything? You're a citizen. I don't give a damn if you're on a school board, if you're a bus driver, or if you're a radio talk show host. You have a duty to further an investigation, even if it concerns your son. At least, again, I'm not trying to pump my parents up, but maybe I'm in the minority. You all tell me. Most of the kids that I grew up with, that's how their parents approached it. Like, we will not defend you. I'm not going to go to court and lie for you. We'll hire you an attorney, but we're not going to break the law for you. Quick time out as we head into the 4:00 hour. Howard Marcus will join us. Then at the bottom of the hour, you got to hang on for this audio I've got, this tete-a-tete between Senator Josh Hawley and Dr. Please stand by, Nisha Verena, a fellow at Emory University, who can't determine whether a man can have a baby.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump did not get what he wanted from talks on Greenland.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with officials from Greenland and Denmark about the future of Greenland. President Trump has been talking in more forceful terms lately about a possible U.S. takeover of Greenland. Denmark's Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen says there will be more talks.
It's clear that the president has this wish of conquering over Greenland. We made it very, very clear that this is not in the interest of the kingdom.
Before the meeting, President Trump wrote the U.S. needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. Ed Donahue, Washington.
FBI agents searched a Washington Post reporter's home on Wednesday as part of a classified documents investigation. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The newspaper says the FBI searched the home and devices of one of its journalists, seizing a phone and a Garmin watch. The reporter recently published a piece describing how she gained hundreds of new federal government sources. Attorney General Pam Bondi posted a statement online saying the search was done at the request of the Pentagon. She said the administration will not tolerate illegal leaks of classified information. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Many Verizon customers are experiencing a major outage on Wednesday, disrupting calling and cellular services across the U.S. The New York-based carrier has acknowledged an issue impacting wireless voice and data services. Verizon hasn't specified the outage's cause, but says engineering teams are working to resolve it. On Wall Street today, the Dow Industrial's down by 42 points, the Nasdaq dropping 238, with the S&P 500 index lower by 37. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are now part of healthcare sharing because it just makes so much sense, especially right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before January 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fees. You save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is January 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car, and there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 14th day of January. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1. Should I just even stop saying the AM? Are we anywhere near getting that thing back up on its feet?
Sure.
He said, rather shakily, "Oh, it's our deal. Yeah, we still gotta
get it back."
It's the first time that I've had outsiders ask me about it. I had 2 people at BCC ask me about the AM, and it happens in the chat room. We're working on it. But again, it's easy access. You can go to 96.1 FM. You can go to kernradio.com, or you can go to YouTube and actually watch us do the broadcast. And if you miss anything, you can go back and watch after the show or anytime you like, or any other of our broadcasts. We've been doing YouTube now and chronicling our shows since at least 3 months?
I couldn't tell you when we started, to be honest with you. I think it's longer than that, though.
Yeah, I think it is too. But it is a Wednesday. 30 cents. That phone's no food, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes. Howard Marcus! How are you, Howard?
Hanging in there every day. You know how that is.
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
It's a struggle.
Towards oblivion.
It is a struggle. What's going on with you? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I'll tell you, obviously there's what I was thinking all day, and I've been thinking about last week, is America has turned into a short attention span theater.
Oh, yeah.
We just flit from subject to subject and ignore the giant macros. The biggest issue, which isn't getting as much attention as it really should be, it is getting attention, but not as much as people don't realize the real enormity, is what's going on in Iran.
Yeah. Yeah.
That has the ability to completely transform roughly a third of the world.
Yeah.
In the sense that they, under the current regime, which is now over, basically 50 years in, they've killed hundreds of Americans and thousands of Westerners, and have fomented unrest completely through the Middle East. Whether it be Yemen or even in Syria, wherever else you can meddle, have been an active, willing partner. And the problem we've got is, if we intercede, the powers that be in Iran would love to point to us that this is all an American idea and use that to solidify opposition. And we're kind of in a stuck position because we really can't intercede militarily. We're not really set up to do that, other than like airstrikes, which really doesn't affect stuff on the ground.
No, we need boots on the ground.
It's just hard to do that. I'm not sure if the will is there.
I hope not. I certainly hope not.
I don't know. And there's a tripod of forces supporting the regime, which is the informal religious police, which started the last one by killing a young woman.
Yeah.
And there are the law enforcement, and then the military. And then within the military, the Revolutionary Guard. Any one of those, the only chance you have really is the police or the military turning to support the freedom people that are fighting for, the people that are fighting for freedom, which has happened in other countries. That's what happened in Romania. The actual law enforcement went over to the side of the people resisting the Ceausescu government, and that actually started the fall of that government. In fact, they actually ended up routing the secret police. So there's a hope of that. It has to happen from within, sort of like what happened in Syria, which went horribly wrong. 10-year war, hundreds of thousands dead.
Yeah.
Flooded Europe with Muslim refugees, that kind of thing. I hope it just stays internalized, and people don't realize this is a momentous occasion. If it happens, it will totally change our position in the Middle East. It'll happen via, with regards to Israel, Lebanon, Syria, even Iraq, Afghanistan, you name it. Any country in that immediate area, which is probably hundreds of millions of people, will have a positive effect. And we're just kind of posting these things. They know they've got a news blackout. They're smuggling stuff out. The estimate now is 10,000 potentially dead.
Yeah. They've cut off phone service.
Everything.
Everything. These people are totally in the dark.
The only chance we have is they're trying to get Starlink into the country.
Yeah.
Smuggle them in. And people don't realize this is a more so than, how to put it, issues of the day, the goofy Epstein files or anything else we squabble over, which will be old news a year from now, and go on to the next crisis that we sort of create within our country, whether it's anything that is current political issues, but the world issue, because that does affect us. It affects us in almost every aspect of foreign policy. It affects us domestically as far as military spending. It affects the economy as far as what they call black ships with oil. And this is something I hope we can intervene in a way that actually makes it successful. I'm not sure if we can.
I was just about to ask you, how would we without
Military
regime change?
Yeah, military airstrikes. We don't have troops in the area enough for boots on the ground. And it's already shifting power in the Middle East. Right now, Turkey approached Saudi alliance. Saudi Arabia is going to move to the power vacuum, which is also not good because they are fundamentalist Wahhabists. They're just as bad as the Iranians in their own way. They're not our friends. They never have been. You know, it's a national interest for them to cooperate with us. They were always been frightened of the Iranian influence in the Gulf. But the reality is, as soon as Iran's gone, now we're going to have to do Saudi Arabia, and really can't picture them as a bad actor since they've been an informal ally, if you will, for so long. And it's a scary world. You know, but I hope for the best. I really hope the Iranian people, all 77 million, it's a very large country with a very large population. I hope the will is there to resist this. I think the only way it's going to work is if not the internal forces, one of them turning side and helping the civilians, there's going to be civil war. We'd have to somehow maybe smuggle arms in, fly in some kind of support troops for supply depots. I don't think we can actually put troops in the ground. I just don't think the will is there.
I hope not. I truly
Syria,
hope not.
It went on for 10 years.
Yeah, because it would not be. It would go on for a while. This would not be something clean and surgical like we saw in Venezuela.
No.
This would be a long, hard fight. It really would be.
And we still have problems with Venezuela. People don't realize that the militia which Maduro formed, 100,000 civilians were given firearms and were part of an informal militia. They're now going after the supporters of those that wanted Maduro disposed. And after the initial, celebrations in the street, now there is some issues going on, and even in Venezuela, it's not free. He was the head of the government, and in some ways a figurehead, but the people below him are just as bad, and they're still in power.
They're still in power. The regime is still intact.
It's an interesting world. I always make the old joke, I've done it for years, which is a Chinese curse is, maybe we live in interesting times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I think it's a bigger issue than some of the issues of the day. We tend to, micro-focus on Kern County, which we should. We live here. And then then California, and then with the issues we have plenty, and then obviously the United States. But those are almost always transitory. I remember living through 8 years of Bill Clinton, gritting my teeth every time I opened the newspaper.
Yeah.
Now it's old history. It's ancient history to some. 30 years later.
Speaking of 30 years later, let me take you about 40 years later when we were kids back in the 80s. How did we lose the Shah? And how did this whole Khomeini regime begin?
Well, I'll tell you, I was in high school for part of this, and I had friends who were Iranians.
Because Los Angeles is the largest segment of Iranians.
Oh, yeah.
Other than the Tehran, it's L.A.
Yeah, in fact, a good portion of the student population. I had friends that were Iranian.
Me too. They called them Persians back then.
Right, they were Persians back then.
Yeah.
After '79, they changed it. They didn't want to be known as Iranians. Right?
Yeah.
What ended up happening was they went to the Shah. Shah was having internal dissent, which obviously I'm pretty sure they regret now. And he had what was called SAVAK, S-A-V-A-K, which was his internal police. And in fact, I ate at a place that was actually a front for SAVAK in Beverly Hills. It was a really nice restaurant. But the Shah came to them and said, what's going to take to put down this rebellion? And their own estimates were 10,000 dead. And the Shah refused to kill that many of his own people and left the country. And at the same time, Jimmy Carter refused to support him. The same mistake we made with, the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter made a whole bunch of horrendous mistakes.
Yes.
With correctness.
Yes.
And we didn't try to keep the Shah in power. If I remember correctly, he fled to Panama and died of cancer fairly shortly after that. But he did not have the will to murder his own people. And it's just the one good thing. He was a authoritarian, but they were the freest country at the time in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They had open universities. Women had equal rights. They weren't having to wear basically a bed sheet with eye holes. And it all transformed. And remember, this was kind of a popular uprising against the Shah and careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because immediately, Khomeini at the time was in Paris. They flew him back to Iran, and things went downhill from there. Sort of the same thing that happened in Russia when the Germans took Lenin to try and topple the Russian Empire to win the Eastern Front. They actually transported Lenin into Russia. Same kind of idea. And then, of course, look what happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have these ideas and you think they're going to pan out, and they just don't.
Why would they advertise the fact that they're about to execute somebody?
Oh, I think they're trying to cow the crowd. I think they're obviously trying to say, if you protest, they apparently have, I think it's 8,000 to 10,000 prisoners in jail. I just saw their headline very recently that supposedly they're not going to execute these guys. If you believe that,
that's what Trump said.
Swamp land to sell you.
Trump said that today.
Yeah, Trump's statement.
Yeah, and I kind of shook my head when he said it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just trying to placate him because they've seen what he's done in numerous instances. When he says he's going to do something,
he does it.
You kill something. You kill Iranians. We're going to come in.
Yeah,
and they believe him at this point. I think Venezuela made a very good point, along with other things he's done. He does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, you can take him at his word.
And while we haven't removed the regime in Venezuela, we've seen moves, a change of attitude. They released political prisoners. And, when you realize that you might be next,
and they're going to be next,
it tends to change your attitude just a skosh.
Yeah, in fact, I just read that Trump's going to meet with the Nobel Prize-winning opposition leader. For some reason, he sort of backed off endorsing her, and I think they realized, no, we've got to put her back in there.
Yeah,
really support her because there's not really a viable alternative. And you can't really deal with the present regime because there's no change then. But it's an interesting world we live in. These are momentous times.
It's crazy.
We've lived in times since the fall of Berlin Wall in '89 that there's been these world-changing events, and I think a lot of Americans kind of sleepwalk through all this, not realizing how really it affects your daily life in the long run. We worry about the issues of the moment.
We're just not engaged. I don't think the trust in journalism has plummeted. I made an example of the Bakersfield Californian. Today they ran a story about Youngblood defending Cynthia Zimmer. We had that how many weeks ago?
A little late on that story.
I mean, it really, and you put it on the front page, the top of the fold, on the very top of your paper, as if it's like breaking news.
Well,
and so
when, medium.
Yeah, so when a listener
went from a real newspaper to 6 pages, maybe?
Yeah, 5 days a week now.
Yeah,
so when a listener of mine who heard Donnie Youngblood say that weeks ago picks up today's paper and reads the Californian saying what Donnie told us weeks ago, they're like, why do I read this thing? Why do I even read this thing? And
I think most people don't. That's the issue.
Yes. And
kids get their news from TikTok and Comedy Central. What do you want to say?
Ain't that the truth?
Sadly, that's the case. And, it's just the way things are changing. There's going to be a shaking of the news cycles. You're seeing it happening from late night comedy to, major broadcast news, the views. There's so many alternative viewpoints. And the problem is, I think most people aren't discerning enough to understand that some of this stuff is thinly disguised propaganda or peddling ideology, and some of it is really not hard journalism anymore.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of pick and choose what you watch.
You really do.
And it's just the way. That's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be the way for a long time. They're still shaking out the technology. I mean, I'm looking at AI. I'm watching stories on, say, Facebook. I can't believe half the stories because the AI is getting so well done.
Oh, I know. I read a story today that Tom Brady had been hired as our Raiders head coach.
Yeah, and it looks completely logical.
It does. It looks realistic, and you got to go Google Tom Brady to find out that it's absolutely bogus.
Right.
But
they posted that file exactly. You clicked on the story to see if it's true. They got their click.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all they care about. They'll post the most outrageous stuff, and people have been discerning about this kind of stuff. I don't know if they're capable at this point because where do you learn to do this?
Yeah.
Schools are teaching you, and your peers are watching the same stuff you're watching. I think the older generation, I guess now millennials are even an older generation. I think the older generations are rather wary of all this stuff. A lot of them, I'll be honest, very few of my friends are on social media. Very few. None of them are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Either they don't trust it, don't know how to use it, or they're just disengaged at this point in their life.
Yeah. And you've got to have multiple sources to really understand the news. And these kids today, 30 and under, just don't have multiple sources. They're not watching 17 News. They're not reading the paper. They're not looking at the New York Times, the LA Times.
Nope.
They're just not. They're looking at TikTok, Instagram.
That's part of the problem. It's all peer group.
Exactly.
But by the way, as a side note, the Bankus guy, I just watched that same clip you did earlier today and rolled on the floor.
I mean, it's so inappropriate.
Politically incorrect, by the way.
So incredible
for him.
Yeah, I can't believe it, but it is hilarious.
Well, it's a reaction to the woke comedians on the left. There eventually was going to be pushback and find an audience for the other half of the country. He's got sold out tours everywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly why I played it. Even somebody in the chat room was like, that's inappropriate. Leave the lady alone. But yeah.
Well, it was funny in an incredibly horrible, morbid way.
Exactly.
It wasn't hate-filled. It was funny. There was a difference. It was horrible but funny. It wasn't meant mean-spirited.
I don't think so.
Anything he said, it wasn't like people putting a finger to the neck about Charlie Kirk and really meaning it.
Right. Right.
That's the difference. Yeah, I find humor in almost any situation, as long as I know it's meant as humor, in good spirits.
And he presented the absolute difference between how Republicans acted and how Democrats acted during the Kirk situation.
Exactly.
Like they absolutely celebrated.
They really did.
You know, I had to go at it with David Torres, who hours after Charlie Kirk's death was on Facebook, you know, quoting him and saying all these ill things. His body wasn't even cold yet.
No, that is a big difference. I think, unfortunately, in the split we have in society, there are people that celebrate harm to fellow Americans over political divide.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I have not heard one Republican say, you know, she was a horrible human being and she deserved this and blah, blah, blah. All I've heard is they believe that the officer acted justifiably.
Right.
That's all.
She suffered the reason, you know, what I've heard is that the harshest thing I've said is she was in the wrong place, the wrong time, and made the wrong decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
The result.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell Mary we said hi. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sir.
All right, man. Take care, Howard.
Great.
Howard Marcus. Quick timeout. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. Got some stunning audio for you to play, for you to hear. I want you to hang on for that. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Coming up at the 5, we'll hear some more of my audio clips, my audio comedian clips. And we'll talk a little sports. You'll hear from Tiger Woods on the Live PGA situation. And Art Rooney II speaks out about the departure of longtime Steeler head coach Mike Tomlin. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, China is admitting that snatching up Nicolas Maduro has ended a lot of their ambitions in this hemisphere. Like the snatching or not, that's a good result. And the new year meant you got to pay your student loans again. Remember those? And that has landed with a thud. We'll have that and all of the news of the day because that's what we do on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Guy Picard.
Hi, my name is Guy Picard, and I am very happy that I found Paul Sheldon. What a relief it is trying to turn 65 and find somebody like him to help me navigate this industry. I think that it's really important that you look at all of the options that you have and then give Paul Sheldon a call because he will create a plan that fits your budget and fits what you're trying to achieve as far as trying to get the best possible medical care that you can have. So I'd like to recommend Paul Sheldon to any of you out there that are trying to navigate the medical industry turning 65. Give Paul Sheldon and his staff a call. They are awesome. And I'd just like to say, Paul and your whole entire staff, you guys rock.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Ready? Go! Okay, doctor. Operation. No, hurry, time's almost up. Okay. The most amazing care. Oh, Betty.
Well, I know. Right now. Time's up.
And I fucking
okay, our turn.
60 yards.
Ready?
And I looked
Go!
at it, and I got to dim it like this.
It
where I missed it
my
by
life.
like 6 inches.
How is it possible for children?
And it's just right here. It's right here.
Because people just like you, kids like me, can play in the game of life. I can do things now that were impossible before. I can draw.
Never even see the ball.
I can play
I
basketball.
get into a cycle. Like when I.
Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Go to lovetrends.org right away.
After I played,
Thank
I feel
you.
good.
And we're
I'm
back.
just out there and I
Another
just-
commercial for California Fruit Depot.
I'm like,
Cal
"Chip
Fruit
it."
Depot. First, it needs to be said that a lot of listeners are complaining that you're not pulling your own weight on these commercials.
Wait, this is a 1-minute podcast. I'll lead with that. Now back to you.
If you're wearing a jacket and you're hearing this commercial, come on out to California Fruit Depot. Come on out and see us.
Not Christmas.
Oranges,
It's a jacket special.
dates,
shakes, smoothies, all those things. They're available. Come on, you can ship them to family and friends all over the country.
Shipping available.
Another thing I like to talk about is getting a jingle.
please.
We need a jingle.
We do need it.
All musicians, bands. Hey, if you got AI capabilities, send us an AI commercial.
Submit it.
For California Fruit Depot. Has to be radio friendly.
What do they say?
California Fruit Depot.
Got your citrus. Got your nuts.
Come get some dates. Come get your dates.
Send your jingle to citrusjinglecontest@gmail.com and come out to California Fruit Depot. Google us for directions, or you can visit us online at calfruitdepot.com.
Hey, I made the commercial.
The Armstrong and Getty Show,
as my
weekdays
shoulders go
noon to
down.
2 on News.
What do you got?
Let's see. Some estimates put the number of dead in Iran from the recent protest at 20,000.
Yeah, I heard that on Fox this morning. Anywhere from 12 to 20,000. And Brett Baer, I think it's coming on tonight, sat down with the Iranian foreign minister and had a fascinating, surreal, as described by Brett Baer, surreal interview with the foreign minister. I've DVR'd it if in fact it comes on a show tonight, because I think his show comes on at 3:00 Pacific time. But they re-air it. Don't they re-air Brett Baer at night? I'm pretty sure they re-air all those shows.
I think so.
Jesse and Hannity and all of them.
I believe so. I think they're on reruns until the next morning.
So yeah, if you could get a chance to see Brett Baer's interview with the Iranian foreign minister, I strongly suggest, because I think the best statement Howard made in his segment was, we're ignoring this, and this Iranian situation has gargantuan, it's not only gargantuan but it says gargantuan ramifications, not only for that region, but for us as Americans, as the United States. We head into the back half of the hour. You'll hear from a gynecologist who doesn't know whether men can have a baby. I don't make this stuff up. I absolutely couldn't. And we'll get into the situation with Joe Rogan, who has spoken out against the Trump administration immigration policy. All that and much more. It's TRBS. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Would not be so all alone.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Senate Republicans have voted to dismiss a war powers resolution that would have limited President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks on Venezuela. Two GOP senators reversed course on supporting the legislation. The president ultimately prevailed in heading off passage of the legislation after Republican Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri and Todd Young of Indiana flipped. Iranian officials signaled that fast trials and executions lay ahead for suspects detained in nationwide protests, while the Islamic Republic promised retaliation if the U.S. or Israel intervened in the domestic unrest. The threats emerged Wednesday as some personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar were advised to evacuate. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey,
Hey, we're so excited for tonight.
Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here for Sanguera Subaru. I can't believe it's 2026, but here we are, and I say it's time to relax after all the holiday hustle and bustle. But obviously, there's a but coming. There always is. But for my buddies over at Sanguera, they are ramping up for 2026 with some incredible lease offers on new Subarus, like a new 2025 Crosstrek Premium CVT. Now through February 2nd, you can lease one for just $149 a month. That's right, a 2025 Crosstrek for just $149 a month for 36 months with $5,100 due at signing. And of course, every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive, get you where you're going every time. This offer does end on February 2nd, so stop by and see Damon and Hassan and the whole gang. Pick out your Crosstrek and drive home in a brand new Subaru in 2026. Sanguera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersfield Auto Mall.
Through February 2nd, 2026, lease a 2025 Crosstrek Premium CVT model code SRB-14 for $149 a month on a 36-month lease. $5,100 due at lease signing plus tax and license. Just security deposit, 10,000 mile per year limit, 15 cent per mile overage. MSRP $32,688. VIN number SH325603. Financing for well-qualified buyers only. Subject to credit approval. Offer ends 2/2/26.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
It costs $7.5 million to do 2 blocks, and Andre's vision is to go 4 more blocks to the west and another block to the east, and you multiply that by 3, and you're getting $20 million in improvements down 6 blocks where, I don't know, another certain city councilman and his boys just happen to own 5 different properties.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Oh,
Four Tops! I told you we're changing the music. Is this another 60-year-old?
Yep.
Four Tops.
Hey, real quick, are you saying I'll be back?
Why?
Yeah, I just caught that.
What are the lyrics?
It's I'll be there.
That's what I said. I'm the worst with lyrics. You know who confounds me?
Who's that?
And I still get his lyrics wrong?
Sam Davis?
Elton John.
Oh, yeah, his are weird, though.
His are so weird. I mean, I've been corrected so many times. Like, Ralph, that is not what he's saying. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, what's the one? There's one song where it's
Yellow Brick Road?
No, is it Yellow Brick Road? No, it's a fast one.
Crocodile Rock.
I remember when Rockman's no, that's pretty standard. There's one that's like maybe Philadelphia Freedom. I can't remember. But it's is that Mr. Von Stein?
It is. Looks like he is grabbing his mail.
Because it's Wednesday. We had him last Wednesday, didn't we?
Yes.
We have him next week. I thought he was coming. And don't forget, speaking of Mr. Van Alstyne, as he gets his mail, Current Radio Studios are powered by his company, Adaptive Networks. He and his wife, Jennifer, will be with us next Wednesday. For all your IT needs, call them, Adaptive Networks, at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. I thought he was on his way to the studio. I was like, is he?
I have no idea because I don't see him in the
because Jen would,
so he might actually be.
No, Jen would be with him. Because we had him last week. Wasn't it last week? Yeah, okay. It's every other week. And then I think as we progress, we might start having them all weekly. But for just now, we're just doing that. This is just something that I picked up. I don't know if this is an entire segment, but I had to play this audio. I absolutely had to play this audio. let me tell you this, Senator Josh Hawley, who I used to not like, because Hawley was one of the ones that claimed that the insurrection, the 2020 incident on January 6th wasn't a big deal, and yet there's video of him running out of the Senate. And I just was like, you hypocrite. But he's really an articulate, smart man. And listen to him dice up Dr. Nisha Verma. Now remember, she is a professor at Emory University, which is a very distinguished school in Atlanta, Georgia. She is a fellow at Emory and part of the Physicians for Reproductive Health. Listen to this exchange.
Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. I think, yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question.
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics.
Absolutely.
So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
can men get pregnant?
Again, as I'm saying,
let me just remind you. You testified to a moment ago. Science and evidence should control, not politics. So can men get pregnant? You're a doctor, I think.
Science and evidence should guide medicine.
Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes, no questions like this are a political tool. And
no, yes, no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding.
Yes, no questions are a political tool. I don't know if you kept track, but I did. He asked her 7 times. 7 times. An OBGYN, a physician, a doctor, a professor, a fellow of the Physicians for Reproductive Health. And she was absolutely incapable of saying, no, Senator, a human being with an X and a Y chromosome cannot physiologically have a child, no matter what Joan Rivers said in the 20th century. For those in the younger part of our audience, Joan Rivers was a comedian in the 20th century who scripted a motion picture starring Billy Crystal where a man gets pregnant. That was that illusion. I forget what is it. Look up Billy Crystal films and tell me what the name of that film is, where Billy Crystal gets pregnant. She could not definitively...
Rabbit test.
That's the only case, even in fiction, in the history of this world, where it's even been suggested that a man can have a baby. And this is a allegedly responsible doctor, a professor who is teaching children, young adults. And yet 7 times in front of a Senate committee, this woman couldn't say, you know, if you want to be flippant about it, say, well, I don't know where you're going with this, Senator, but of course not. A man can't have a baby. Can we move on? No, she couldn't say that. She gave a Kamala Harris kind of ridiculous rambling, I'm not going to answer the question, and then finally says, yes or no questions are a political tool. And Hawley, the brilliant cat, says, no, they're not. It's a simple way to get to the truth. It's a simple way to expose just how far the woke liberal left have gone. And remember, we got a Supreme Court justice who, upon her confirmation, could not describe what a woman was. This is the issue with the Democratic Party. It's no longer a difference of opinion in politics, in ideology, in the direction of the nation, what is best for the states versus federal. Now it is about the Democratic Party and the far woke left changing America. Absolutely changing America. That is their mission. Whether it's this kooky new mayor in Seattle, whether it's Mamdani, who just appointed a criminal to be part of his police team, it is a reshaping of everything that we know that is right. This idea that children can make decisions about their lives and about how they identify. As we talked about yesterday, if teachers can make the effort to make a child who thinks he's a girl when he's a biological boy, make him feel comfortable about that decision, can't you put the same effort in trying to have that biological boy feel comfortable in his body and simply deal with what life is really all about? What is life really all about? Life is about playing the cards that God has dealt you. Plain and simple. And doing the best you can with what you have. If you're born and you raise up and you're short, guess what? You're probably not going to be a professional athlete, but there are thousands of things you can do. It's not something that's going to dissuade you in life, but it may limit what you may be able to do. But there are thousands of other lanes to go. If we can make young children, what you do at 18 and above, I don't give a damn. You want to dress up like a woman and say that you're Renee when your name is Ron? Fine. But to allow children to make these decisions, to allow teachers to hide from their biological parents what's going on with these children, it's insane. And thank God, literally, that finally the Supreme Court, as we talked about yesterday with Teresa Goldner, has stepped in and is at least going to deal with this transgender issue when it comes to equity and fairness in sports. Where young women who want to participate in sports are being left off teams because the biological male is dominating and taking up one of the spots. If there are 10 spots on the team and there's a transgender boy competing, you better believe he's going to be one of the 10. I don't give a damn how talented he is. He's a boy going up against girls. Wasn't there a time in life when that was considered unfair? This is a true story. When I was a kid, Chris Williams and I lived a couple of blocks from each other. Our families were friends that our parents went to, our dads were in the Navy together in St. Albans, Queens. I've told you what a phenomenal story this is. How these group of physicians went to med school together, figured out a way how to pay it, served the Navy for 5 years. We were all on the same naval base. Somehow we all moved to Cerritos. When I say all, the Sewsburys, the Williamses, and the Baileys, and we were all friends in Cerritos. And Chris and I were pals. And the only really friend we had was this girl named Margaret Knowles. And she was a great athlete. And we would play with her. And we would eavesdrop on our parents, and they would make fun of the fact that Chris and I are playing with a girl. And we would be like, there's nobody else to play with in the neighborhood. We didn't really know anybody. And our parents would just shake our head, you playing with a girl. And now we've got people that want to sanction that for the CIF and for other high school organizations all across the country and make it okay because you're taking beta blockers and because you're trying to transition, which we should not be allowing in high school. Think about some of the stupid decisions that you thought about when you were in high school. And yet we've got grown-ass adults defending these children, making life-altering decisions at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's just absolutely ludicrous. In fact, let's hear a little ludicrous. As we take a break and come right back. It's TRBS on a Wednesday. We'll check the board once again, see what you all are talking about. I'll see what you all in the chat room are saying. Coming up top of the hour, we'll recap our top story. Shannon Grove has joined the chorus of legislators and local folk in our town calling for criminal charges to be leveled against KHSD trustee Kathy Scrivener. I've got some comedic audio that I'll play for you, and you'll hear from Tiger Woods on Brooks Koepka and others trying to get back into the PGA, and Art Rooney II talking about the departure of Mike Tomlin. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk
Siri,
96.1.
You got Messmaker right here. You want
show
to
me the Laker schedule.
hear me?
Yeah.
Do you want me to play it?
Nothing tonight. Huh?
Messmaker, do you want to play it?
Yeah. Oh, no, I got it.
Dallas will be
Well,
here
you got
with
a good one?
burritos and also.
There's one really good one. The one where I sound sick, where I cover everything, but I'll do it.
Radio.com. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hope you're with us tomorrow, 4:30, when Daniel Petrie, our money man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, joins us. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Donald Trump was out boasting about his economic change. We'll get Daniel's thoughts on that, and that's why he is such an important cog on this broadcast. Again, as I always say, he not only brings his economic knowledge, but a political savvy to explain the ins and outs of what's going on inside the Beltway, and most importantly, how it impacts you. But at the end of the day, you all know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. If it's staring you in the mug, call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400. And Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are located right on the corner of 21st and Oak.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not so wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho! And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
Byrna was recently ranked number 10 on Forbes' list of the 100 most successful small-cap American companies in 2025, a recognition earned by solving real problems for real people. Byrna is proudly hand-assembled in the United States, right in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Our mission is simple, designed to stop, not kill. That's BYRNA. As the world leader in less lethal personal defense, Byrna creates launchers for everyone in the family. The newest Byrna Compact is small enough to fit in a pocket or purse, yet powerful enough to deliver real stopping power out to 60 feet. It gives you the confidence to defuse a dangerous situation without resorting to lethal force. Every family should have a Byrna within reach. It fires potent kinetic, tear gas, and pepper ammo rounds that can disable an attacker for up to 40 minutes. Law enforcement agencies across the country rely on Byrna. No background checks, no permits, legal in all 50 states, ships right to your door. Visit Byrna.com today and find the right launcher for your family. That's BYRNA.com. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
842-5376, 842-KERN.
You asked for it.
I know. I didn't know you were going to get that ethnic with it. I thought you'd give us one of the
Oh, heck no.
more
If we're going
milder.
Luda. We're going Luda.
one of the more
I grew up
milder.
on Luda. We're going Luda.
Well, what's he doing these days? I haven't
Acting.
seen him act. I haven't seen him acting though. What's like on what?
He makes a lot of money off of those Fast and Furious movies, so I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
he just sits on those.
Yeah.
They asked him directly why you guys keep making these movies. I'm obviously referring to Vin Diesel and everybody. He's like, have you
They make
seen how
money.
much we make?
Yeah, they make a lot of money. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
Ralph, do you have any idea where these public employees / ICE who cover their faces, who are getting paid by the tax dollars, are being recruited from because their website blocks it?
I have no idea, but I think they're handling this poorly. I really do. And I think the fact that the president has lost Joe Rogan, who agrees with me. I saw some video today, I'm sure most of you have seen it, where they're dragging a woman out of her vehicle. There was another video of a guy who was standing on a sidewalk filming them, and an ICE agent just comes up and gives him a forearm shiv and knocks him to the ground. This is getting uglier and uglier and uglier, and politically, it is going to destroy the Republican Party come the midterms. And I don't say that to try to run down the Republican Party. I say that as a warning shot across the bow, because never in my recent lifetime has the midterms been as important as they are to the Republican Party. Because I'm telling you, and I hope I don't have to take a victory lap in December and say, I told you so, because we know how quickly Christmas comes around. Didn't we just say, oh my God, I can't believe it's already Christmas? Well, it's gonna spin back around. And if the Republican Party loses the House and the Senate, the very first thing the Democrats are going to do is remove the filibuster. And once they get it down to a simple majority, as opposed to 60 votes, the very first thing they will do is pack the court. We will go from 9 jurists on the highest court in the land to 15. And they will pump it with woke DEI jurists who they know will overcome the conservative court. Once they get that done, in my opinion, they're going to try to make Puerto Rico and the Washington District of Columbia states so they can get 4 new liberal Democratic senators. This is gargantuan. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got?
Coach Kessler's on the line.
Coach K, what's on?
RB, what the heck's going on? Love the show, but you know, I got to call on you. You are the people I've ever been around, and I mean that besides my father-in-law. What I am just not understanding or comprehending as a person in the United States of America, that we are at the U.S. Supreme Court deciding if a man can play in a woman's sport.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Cut and dry.
It's mind-boggling.
I mean, and for it to not be 9-0, which it should be, I just don't understand what it is. Why are we doing this and not just saying, no, this is not going to happen? There's no science. There's nothing that can be done. And I'm just speaking to you because we're friends and I love your opinion. And I just don't understand. It's just like the gynecologist who can't tell Holly that a man cannot have a baby.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Democrat, independent, or Republican, who are you trying to fool? I mean, why are you not saying it? Are you going to get kicked out of your Emory College? I mean, what is the deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're trying to reshape America. They really are. They're trying to reshape the youth to think like this as they grow older, that we can't define a woman. You know, we got a Supreme Court justice that can't define a woman.
Yes.
Like, shouldn't that even disqualify you from being on the court?
100%. Everything is cut and dry. There's not even a gray area, Ralph.
No.
RB, there's not a gray area like, hey, maybe.
Yeah.
No, there's no gray area, and we are wasting time at the United States Supreme Court to figure out if a guy can play in a woman's sport.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I love sports all my life. My kid played, you play, we all play. And here we are deciding, it goes back to me. And listen, my wife went into the North High Hall of Fame for sports. I'm not a male chauvinist, but there's just some things that just don't work in our society. And we're made to make somebody, because this is what I was telling one of my friends. So if you call yourself a pig, can you go into the Kern County Fair and go in the show?
Yeah.
Because you say you're a pig
Yeah.
or you're a dog. Can you go into the Kern Kennel World Show and run around on all fours? That's about where we are.
That is exactly where we are. Or can I go look at my ratings and find out that 70% of my audience is Latino and come in here tomorrow and claim my name is Rafael and I'm Mexican? You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, it's insane. It's insane.
I just love I don't know. Again, I'm one voice, and I don't care what you want to be. I'm not judging anybody else. Honest to gosh, I am not as I'm standing here. You want to be a snake or a rat or a whatever you want to call yourself, fine.
Right.
But why as Americans, we just don't say, no, you're not playing.
Yeah.
No, you can't do. World records are being broken in weightlifting by transgenders in those states.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm rambling. I love the show. I just love the topic. And I wish we'd wake up and just start saying no.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing this.
Well, the good news is, Don, you're not one voice. You're a chorus of voices, and we will be heard. Unfortunately, it won't be till June until the court says we're putting a ban on this, but I think we'll get there. I really do. Thanks for the call, man.
I know you got to go. Yeah,
I got to
talk to RB. Tell Chris I said, good job. Great show.
All right, thanks, Bob. Take
All right,
care.
brother. Yep.
Don Kessler, love that man. Father of Cody Kessler, former SC star and NFL star as well. You got somebody else?
We do, and actually we can take him real quick. It's 49 Larry. You got a minute?
You got a minute, Larry? What's up?
Yeah, this is 49 Larry. I just called to agree with you yesterday about the greatest baseball movie. It wasn't Field of Dreams. It was The Pride of the Yankees. And then I want to tell you my prediction for Saturday.
Oh, we're out of time. We got a hard break, Larry. I'm sorry. I got to go to break. I appreciate the phone call. I'm a big fan of Pride of the Yankees. I don't know if I've said that. That's the best baseball movie. Pride of the Yankees, to me, is not a baseball movie.
I think he was more saying that Field of
Better
Dreams,
than Field of Dreams
isn't the best one.
Yeah, it isn't. I know I'm in the minority on that.
I love it, but I wouldn't say it's the best baseball movie. I think Moneyball is better than that one.
Moneyball is better than that one. The Natural is better than that one.
Rookie is that
Rookie, good one. Bull Durham.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are a lot of good baseball movies. Probably the Yankees is a great picture. I've always considered it a love story between Lou Gehrig and his longtime wife. Quick time out. We head into the 5. I would stick around if I you.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The FBI raided the home of a Washington Post reporter this week as part of an investigation into a government contractor accused of leaking classified information. President Trump says the leaker was found.
The leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. A very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're out on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time.
Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the arrest on X. President Trump claims the killing of Iranian protesters has stopped. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president said he has received on good authority that killings in Iran's crackdown on nationwide protests were ending.
There's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it.
Despite the claim, tensions remain high between the U.S. and Iran. The president had warned that the United States would take very strong action if Iran's authorities went ahead with executing protesters. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Senate Republicans have voted to dismiss a war powers resolution that would have limited President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks on Venezuela. 2 GOP senators reversed course on supporting the legislation. The president ultimately prevailed in heading off passage of the legislation after Republican Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri and Todd Young of Indiana flipped. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 42 points, the Nasdaq dropped 238, the S&P lower by 37. More at townhall.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medi-Share and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medi-Share means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are now part of healthcare sharing because it just makes so much sense, especially right now. And Medi-Share is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. Medi-Share has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before January 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fees. You save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is January 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, Trump making some big moves when it comes to enforcing immigration law, including the possibility of cutting off sanctuary cities from federal funds. This is a big one. We'll discuss that, plus the latest inside of Iran. Is a counter-revolution afoot? What's Trump going to do? If anything, we'll discuss that and more on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I was like,
hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this
just
box?
staring out at my front yard.
Can I touch this? Where does
we got
sand
the
come
beverage
from?
card service going on.
Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together?
Load.
How are babies
Yeah.
made?
Because that's like,
What does
because
this
it's like
thing
4
do?
consecutive volumes. I'm blowing
Kids
up
are
the same
curious
amount.
about everything,
But it's like
including
4
guns.
just boom,
Talking
boom,
to them
boom,
about
boom,
gun
boom.
safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, China is admitting that snatching up Nicolas Maduro has ended a lot of their ambitions in this hemisphere, like the snatching or not. That's a good result.
And the new year meant you got to pay your student loans again. Remember those? And that has landed with a thud. We'll have that and all of the news of the day because that's what we do on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bada bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. You've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 14th day of January. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at KERNradio.com. And the KERN Radio Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. Still lots to do in the final hour. You'll hear from Tiger Woods on the Live PGA relationship and how some of the Live guys trying to come back to the fold. You'll hear from Art Rooney II, Pittsburgh Steelers owner, on the departure of Mike Tomlin. And man, this is going to be fascinating to see where all these coaches land. I don't think we've ever, because I guess I can't stand Kevin Stefanski, but I hear all the pundits saying he's a great coach, 2-time coach of the year, and blah, 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 blah. And remember, we discovered why he was so anti-Shedeur Sanders. And maybe this has nothing to do with it, but it's a great connection. Back in the 90s, I want to say Tim McGraw, but Tim McCarver was one of the best baseball analysts on television. And he was covering the Braves either winning the pennant, the division, or the championship, their one championship during the Bobby Cox era. And that's when Deion Sanders was on the team. And McCarver was quite outspoken about criticizing Deion for playing both baseball and football. That he said he was just kind of doing both for his own ego, and he was giving the short end to both teams. You know, he wasn't committing to one and blah, 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 blah. And Deion took offense to that. And during a champagne celebration in the locker room, while everybody's pouring champagne on everybody, Deion Sanders went and got a bucket of water and literally 3 different times poured it on McCarver as he was trying to interview some of the Braves. And there's that famous line that McCarver rendered, "You feel like a really big man, don't you, Deion?" So there's been a hatred between Tim McCarver and Deion Sanders. Well, guess who was a 10-year-old grandson of Tim McCarver? Kevin Stefanski. And I'm sorry, I remember being 10, and if Charlie Bailey had been disrespected by some guy, I'd hold a grudge for the rest of my damn life. You damn right I would. You damn right I would. If I could go back and look at video, you can go Google that video right now. You go Google that video, you put Tim McCarver, Deion Sanders, that locker room scene will pop up. So don't tell me Stefanski was too young to know what was going on, because at 10, you know what the hell's going on. When you see your grandfather being doused in water by some black guy, he knew what was going on. If he didn't, as he grew up, he certainly did. And when you try to look at how they treated Shedeur, it doesn't explain the draft choice going in the 5th round. Did you hear the most recent rumor, though? That a lot of the pundits think they're going to go with Watson next year?
Yeah, I've heard people float that
got
idea.
so much money on the line for him, and that Shedeur will be the backup. Because I really, as much as I like Shedeur, I'm not sure he's ready to lead a franchise. I think he's got potential. I think what happens too often in pro football is you get with a bad organization and you get forced into the situation. Look at the turnaround of Caleb Williams. Do you think he's responsible for that? You think he just suddenly went from irresponsible, fly by the seat of your pants quarterback last year, throwing as many interceptions as he did, to just almost not throwing interceptions and being a more disciplined quarterback? That's Ben Johnson, Jack. That's Ben Johnson. That's coaching. Because as the great Bill Parcells once said to Jumbo Elliott, "Jumbo, that ain't Michigan State down there. That's the Philadelphia Eagles." And there is a gargantuan transition that these kids make from big-time college to the NFL. It's like night and day. The speed's much faster. The worst player on that 53 roster is better than some of the better players you're going to face in college football. So it is going to be fascinating to see how all these, because I can't remember the last time we've had this kind of core of coaches available for hire. And I understand Nick Ragone could be wrong. I understand that Tomlin could, in fact, coach next year if he opted to. And you got John Harbaugh out there. You got Stefanski out there. because the trend has been to go get offensive coordinators. But like I said, we have never had the core of legendary. I mean, you've got 2 Hall of Fame coaches, another coach who was coach of the year twice. Who else is out there? Maybe Cicchetti from Indiana, you never know.
Signetti.
Perhaps, you never know. Who else is out there? Who else got whacked?
So you
got the Miami coach.
Yeah,
maybe not as a head coach, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in silver and black as our OC. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think he's a brilliant. Do you know that guy is part of the Rooney Rule? What's his name? The Dolphin head coach.
Because that's the whole Brian Flores situation.
Yeah, but what's his name?
Mike McDaniel.
Did you know that he's half black?
Yeah.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Well, you're the sports guy. I didn't know that. Like, everybody's got to interview this guy. It's part of the Rooney Rule. I thought it was just a good Miami tan.
Oh, no.
He's
Yeah, you
down
can
in
tell by his moxie, just the way like he acts and like what he wears. It's like, no, he's definitely mixed.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that, Chris. That you could tell by
Well, I could tell it.
how his
Why
attire-
you're going in?
how
Don't
his
you think
attire
that
that he's-
there are signs?
Yeah, but you don't say it. By his attire and the way he acts, you can tell he's black. Oh, yeah. Well,
Well, it's not what I'm saying, but yeah.
812-5376, 812-KER. Let's try to clear the board. What else you got?
We're on the brink of World War III and financial recession, at least, and you're beating up on teachers and gays again. Dumb. Dick Cheney was anti-gay as they come till he found out his daughter was.
What are you talking about? You're suggesting that we're on the brink of World War III and I'm dumb? Read that again.
I actually just deleted it, but they were saying we're on the brink of World War III and a
What was the
financial
other one?
recession.
And a
we're-
financial recession. Yeah, right.
And we're attacking teachers and gays, apparently.
How am I attacking gays?
That's the one I don't understand.
When did what do you?
When are we attacking teachers as well?
Yeah, we're defending parents. Yes, I am attacking a teacher who would find out that a 9-year-old is transitioning and wouldn't tell his parents. So you're telling me that if your child was transitioning and his homeroom teacher knew about it, you wouldn't want to know about it. You wouldn't want them to tell you that your child is transitioning. You'd want to be completely ignorant of that. And you think we're on the brink of World War III, and yet you're calling me stupid. Okay. Well, then what difference does it make? The world's about to blow up, according to you, so what difference does it make? Oh, boy. What else you got?
Let's see. If she said, sure, men can get knocked up, she'd reference the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Junior.
Schwarzenegger's pregnant in that, too?
I guess, yeah.
So Rabbit Test isn't the only picture. I thought Rabbit Test, Joan
I'm not
Rivers
gonna lie to
movie.
you, I've never heard of either of those movies.
Rabbit, well, yeah, because you were like not on the planet when Rabbit Test. That I was even young. That's like I don't know, maybe a late 70s, early 80s picture. I'm guessing. No, because Billy Crystal was on the map by then. So yeah, like mid 80s. Called Rabbit Test. It's actually a funny movie. It's stupid, but it's funny. But one more. Let's take a break.
Let's see. Ralph, the senator should have asked the doctor how many babies she delivered and if any of those babies came from a man.
Yeah, that I think he handled it extremely well. Just a simple yes or no. He asked her 7 times. If you were just joining us, we played some audio from Josh Hawley, Senator Hawley, talking with an OBGYN of all physicians, a professor at Emory University, whether or not a man can have a baby. He asked her 7 times, and 7 times she could not answer yes or no. It's mind-boggling. It is. It's absolutely mind-boggling. And I guess on some level it's not. I think I've stumbled staggeringly, haphazardly into the truth, and that is that the woke left want to change America. They truly do. They want to change our society, and they want to make it a genderless society. They want children to have rights where they can make adult decisions at teenage and preteen levels, which is, again, just confounding to me. How anybody who is an adult, who has gone through the experience of being a child and has experienced making idiotic decisions that they're so thankful that their parents didn't allow them to go through. You know, I wanted to be in the circus when I was 9 years old. Imagine if my parents let me go be a part of Barnum and Bailey. It's just, I have no answer. I really don't. Let's go ahead and take a break, come right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday. Started out to be a warm afternoon and still freezing in here. You heard from Tiger Woods before we get out of here. You heard from Art Rooney, owner of the Steelers. And I've got some comedic audio that we'll play for you. Recap our top story of the day. Get ready for tomorrow when Mr. Turnipseed and Daniel Petrie will join us. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180, KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Last question. What is your favorite thing to do as an 8-year-old?
As an
Hurry up. You only got 30 seconds. Play volleyball. Not hang out with Dad. Not come on Dad's radio show. Not.
Because I hardly do it.
No, I
I've
got you.
asked you a million times and you're just like, no.
All the fun stuff I do with Dad. No, just play volleyball.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, oddly, one of the things that I rarely talk about when I talk about Casey Steakhouse is lunch. If you work downtown, if you work for the county or wherever on Truxton, it's not very far and it's real quick and it's very convenient. And the menu is similar, just smaller portions, and it is outstanding. And the variety on the menu that Chef Daniel has put together now is simply unbelievable. It's mostly a large groups that come to Casey Steakhouse. And not everybody's feeling red meat to celebrate someone's birthday or an anniversary or whatever the event may be. And that's why Chef Daniel has advanced the menu. So there is Italian food. I love the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The lobster mac and cheese is everybody's favorite. The fish dishes, the mahi-mahi, the swordfish, the halibut. Where would you rather be than on F Street? And don't forget about the Stockyard next door for meetings, banquets, or just having dinner and having some of the craft cocktails that are served next door. It's Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
When winter weather hits and the power goes out, will your family still have heat, light, and communication? The Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply gives you serious off-grid power. It'll run heaters, refrigerators, medical devices, and more without gas or noise. Right now, you can double your power for free with a free expansion battery when you order the Grid Doctor 3300. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and get your Grid Doctor 3300 today. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Progressive's accident response can detect and send help when you need it most after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday. When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you. We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's accident response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I don't think I've ever heard this song in my life. Who is this? Is this the Beatles?
The Animals.
The what?
Animals.
When they drag me back to work again.
I've never heard this song in my life. How have I gone through life not hearing this? And this is a 60-year-old song?
Yep.
Never heard it. I gotta turn my thing back on.
It's called Looking Out, or Inside Looking Out.
Big Dog says 71 days, March 26th until Dodger baseball, April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day. We play the New York Mets. Love the fast. Great show today, Pops. Lunch soon. Absolutely. Yeah, pitchers and catchers report in just a matter of weeks. I am really, really excited about this Dodger season coming up. I really think that we have a chance to three-peat. I really believe that. What was the last time somebody three-peated? The Yankees, right around the turn of the century? That Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams team with Joe Torre, Charlie Hayes at third base, Scott Brosius for a little bit, Scott Burrows, I should say, or Brosius. Boros? I can't remember. But yeah, they were the last team to three-peat. And then didn't they have a second chance to three-peat and then Arizona beat them? Or was that to go back-to-back? I can't remember. But I truly, if we can stay healthy, which we have not done in our two championship runs, that's what's so amazing about this club. And, you know, I was listening to Mickey Betts on Up in Smoke. The smoke is piling up. The smoke is black. What the hell's the name of the damn podcast?
All the Smoke.
All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. And he was talking about, he said, you know, the amazing thing is we really didn't play that well in the playoffs. And as amazing as a statement as that is, considering that we did we sweep the Phillies or was it the Brewers?
No, Brewers.
We swept the Brewers. We beat Philly in what, 5, 6? I think 5. I think Philly only won one game. And to be out hit by Toronto, I mean, we were statistically dominated by the Blue Jays. The only difference is in big situations, in big times, we came up big. We made the plays. Miggy Rojas with the play to home plate. Will Smith getting his foot back down that literally saved the World Series. Andy Paez running 110 feet and bulldozing Kike to make a play. I still say, I think Kike makes that catch. I think he had it. Now, the X factor is he was going to run into the wall. Could he have held on to it after he ran into the wall? And can you imagine, had we lost, had he caught it and then run into the wall and dropped it, and that's how we lose the World Series? I mean, just so many different events where they had opportunities to absolutely take us out. Absolutely take us out. Bad base running, the double play to end Game 6, where I made an absolute jerk of myself in somebody's living room. Hi. It just. So imagine if we go into 26 and we stay healthy, our pitching staff stays healthy. And, you know, people forget Mookie Betts. We went to, where did we go? Either Korea or
Japan.
Did we? I can't remember which year. We went to Japan one year and Korea the year before that. Or was it the opposite?
I thought it was Japan this year.
We went to the Orient. Let's put it that way. And Mookie Betts gets so sick he can't eat. That's how we started the season with our right fielder, or our shortstop, I should say, who lost 15, 20 pounds. And it ain't like Mookie's a big cat who can afford to lose 15, 20 pounds. And I submit that's why he's, you know, nobody's really talked about that in terms of his below par season for MB. The fact that he started off where he had to, you know, play catch up. Basically, after the first 2 months of the season, he wasn't Mookie Betts that first 2 months of the season. He's trying to put on weight again and just try to feel good again and get back in the swing of things. And when you're not feeling well, you can't work out the way you could. People don't realize that. You know, when you talk about somebody coming off an injury, what that does is it not only does it obviously limit your playing time, but it limits your workout time. You're not in the cage as much as Mookie was at the beginning of the 24 season or any other season in his career when he's just trying to literally hold down food. You understand what he was going through? Every time he ate, he'd throw it up. He was drinking smoothies and he could barely keep that down. And then you got to go out and hit a 97 mile per hour fastball and you can't even eat a sandwich. And I think I have absolute trust in our organization that we're going to make some additions. I think we absolutely have to get a left fielder. I think I've heard that the organization is kind of iffy on Andy Paez. I don't understand that. I really don't. This kid hit 27 home runs last night. This kid saved the World Series. Yeah, he didn't hit 100 in the playoffs. That's youth. I don't mind that. But 27 home runs? Not a lot of guys are doing that in the bigs. Not a second or third year guy. You know, and we've got some prospects that I think are going to come up. They're going to make the club after spring training. We're going to be, I think, stronger than we were in 25. I really, truly believe that. And that's why I think this club has a legitimate opportunity to three-peat. It's going to be fun to watch. It really is. I think you're going to see Shohei pitch more, which kind of scares the crap out of me if you want to know the truth. Because we lose Shohei, we'll be competitive and we'll get into the playoffs and we might even win a round or two. But can we three-peat without SO? I'm just not sure. We head into the final half hour of the broadcast. You'll hear from Joe Rogan, my allusion to this immigration policy that I think has gone astray. You'll hear from Tiger Woods and Art Rooney II, owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, on the departure of Mike Tomlin. Final half hour, I would stick around if I were you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Senate Republicans have voted to dismiss a war powers resolution that would have limited President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks on Venezuela. Two GOP senators reversed course on supporting the legislation. The president ultimately prevailed in hitting off passage of the legislation after Republican Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri and Todd Young of Indiana flipped. Iranian officials signaled that fast trials and executions lay ahead for suspects detained in nationwide protests, while the Islamic Republic promised retaliation if the U.S. or Israel intervened in the domestic unrest. The threats emerged Wednesday as some personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar were advised to evacuate. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, do people often think dental implants are a one-size-fits-all solution? Can you explain what dental implants are and how they benefit patients?
Yes, dental implants are a permanent solution for missing teeth. They act like natural tooth roots and support crown, bridges, or dentures. Unlike traditional dentures, implants provide a secure fit, look natural, and allow patients to eat, speak, and smile confidently without worrying about slippage.
Well, many people are concerned about the pain involved with dental procedures.
Some people have a more complex situation or have what we call dental phobia. If so, we offer IV sedation that allows patients to relax completely during their dental procedure, making it a stress-free experience.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit him online at affordabledentures.com or call 831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, this should be some fun. We got Rick Kreiser coming in. We got a big bluegrass event this weekend. Dr. Corey Gonzalez will be here with burritos and also psychological advice. We'll have news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
To KERN, the Kern Radio Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. In the meantime, as I mentioned, I just don't think the approach that the ICE agents are taking is working. I think if you look at some of the Quinnipiac poll came out today, where 54% of Americans don't agree with what's going on, and only 25% agree, and the rest are undecided or say they don't know enough about what is going on. And there's just some awful video that's coming out that is going to hurt the Republican Party, and in particular, when the midterms come up. And as again, I'm going to completely continue to beat this drum. The midterms are essential because the Democrats are just salivating on the opportunity to get rid of the filibuster. That's why, if you'll recall, why I changed my opinion when the president was talking about altering the filibuster, changing it from a 60-vote majority in the Senate to pass something to a simple majority, 50 votes, and let the vice president, if you're in power, settle the tie. And as I've said, they are going to get rid of the filibuster. And once they do that, they can do whatever they want. And we know what they want. Biden told us what they want. He told us in the campaign that they were going to pack the court. The thing that makes Democrats' heads explode more than anything is the 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. And the first thing they're going to do is add 6 justices. So it can be absolutely overwhelming liberal Democrat court. Do you know how they will change this world if they pull that off? Do you understand how dire this is? And I know you guys kind of poo-poo me. Oh, that's not going to happen, Ralph. Oh, they're not going to make a state out of Puerto Rico or Washington, D.C. Do you understand that when I was a college student, not at Cal State, at Morehouse College, at 18 years of age, there were 2 campaigns that were going on in the Atlanta University Center, which is made up of historically black colleges, Morehouse College, Spelman, what is now Clark Atlanta University. It used to be Atlanta University was a graduate school. Clark was an undergraduate school. It's now a massive undergrad school, Clark University, Clark Atlanta University, and Morris Brown. And the 2 huge campaigns was, let's get rid of apartheid, and this idea of making Washington, D.C. a state. Because you do understand, or maybe you don't, the Washington delegate does not have a vote. They're present in Congress, but they do not have a vote. And I was a young liberal Democrat who was all in favor of that, making D.C. a state, because it blew my mind. I think that, oh God, I can't remember his name. He was a reverend. I met him in Los Angeles during the Jackson campaign in '88. Walter Fauntleroy was the delegate back then. And I sat down with him and interviewed him, and he absolutely convinced me. Ralph, we're the nation's capital. And he believed because Washington is so dominated by African Americans, that's why D.C. didn't have a vote. Does not have a vote. The delegate is present. I know it was Eleanor Holmes Norton for a very long time. It still may be. Let's find out. Hey, Siri, who is the delegate for Congress in Washington, D.C.?
Here's what I found.
Yeah, it's still Eleanor Holmes Norton. And she has no vote. She has no vote. She's present. She can speak, but she has no vote. So don't take it lightly that once the Democrats get rid of the filibuster, that they're going to pack the court and make 4 new liberal senators out of the new state of Puerto Rico and the new state of Washington, D.C. 842-5376, 842-KERN, because this immigration approach has gone. Again, as I have said constantly, the president has secured the border. Despite all the ramblings of Joe Biden, well, there's nothing I can do. I need Congress. And Trump comes in and cleans it up. And if he had narrowed the focus to simply get rid of criminals, his approval rating would be in the 60s, if not the 70s. But even Republicans are quietly not happy with what they're seeing. I'm not talking about Renee Good. I'm talking about honest citizens who aren't part of ICE Watch, which Renee Good was. She wasn't just some simple mom. She was a mom who had her kids taken away from her. She was a mom that moved out of the United States and then came back. And after she dropped off her child, as it's been described by liberals, she went and put her car perpendicular in the middle of the road. And when told to stop by an ICE agent, her lesbian wife told her, "Drive, baby, drive." Well, guess what? That's against the law. And the whole speech has been, first she didn't hit him. Well, she grazed him. Now we learn that Jonathan Ross, the agent that shot Renee Good, suffered internal injuries. This is internal bleeding, which is as bad as it gets. I don't care if it's in your thigh. The internal bleeding is extremely dangerous. And this is a man who had been dragged 6 months earlier by someone in a car and suffered 33 stitches. Having said all that, they've got to change the approach. Here, from the Joe Rogan Experience, is one of the most popular podcasters in the nation, Joe Rogan.
You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
Yeah. That is a very, very dangerous situation. I saw audio today of an ICE agent having an argument with somebody demanding ID. And the ICE agent saying, well, if you're an American citizen, you shouldn't be reluctant to show us your ID. You can't do that. A police officer can't do that. You can't just walk up to somebody and demand their identification. That truly is Nazi Germany. As much as I talk about, don't allude to the Third Reich, don't go there, because there's nothing in global history that compares to 1936 to 1945 in Germany, the rise of the Third Reich. There's nothing that compares to that. Nothing. And the idea that you can be asked for identification while you are not suspected of committing a crime, it's called a reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime, then you must demand your ID. And if you do not turn it over, you can be arrested for obstruction. But you just can't walk up to a citizen and say, give me your ID. Prove to me you're a American citizen. That is a dangerous, slippery slope. And what you ask, why would I bring this up today? Because of the Quinnipiac poll, where a majority of Americans are against this thing. And we truly have to gear up for the midterms. I know history is against us. Technically, Trump is a first-term president because of the separation between terms. And history has told us you can count on one hand from the turn of the century, no, not 2000, from 1900 to 2026, you count on one hand the amount of presidents in their first term and the first midterm of their first term who have been able to win the midterms. Most recently, George Walker Bush. And again, why? It was post 9/11. It was post 9/11, where Bush's approval ratings were literally in the 60s. He won the midterms, but no one else has since. So history says we're going to get beat. A lot of people think we can maintain the Senate. I certainly hope so. But remember, there is no majority in the House, essentially. Marjorie Taylor just left. James Beard is laid up in the hospital. And Thomas Massie has essentially defected to the Democratic Party. And who else just resigned? We were just talking about it a couple of days ago. It's a slight majority. It really is. And we're going to have to bust our hump to maintain the House. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. When we come back, play some audio for you. Tiger Woods on Brooks Koepka, Arthur Rooney II on Mike Tomlin. And if I have time, have we played the Timothy Busfield stuff? Have we talked about that yet? I may not be able to. We might have to get that to tomorrow. There's new information. I'll have some time. I'll try to squeeze that in as well. But keep it locked. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, Trump making some big moves when it comes to enforcing immigration law, including the possibility of cutting off sanctuary cities from federal funds. This is a big one. We'll discuss that, plus the latest inside of Iran. Is a counter-revolution afoot? What's Trump going to do, if anything? We'll discuss that and more on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's a new year, so why not get into the new Subaru that you put off in 2025? And just because it's a new year doesn't mean the guys over at Sangera Subaru have slowed down. So if an SUV is what you've been leaning towards, then how about leasing a 2025 Outback Premium CVT for only $229 a month for 36 months and just $4,800 due at signing? Let me say that again.
Oh, this is the back?
$229 a month for a brand new Outback. And the offer ends February 2nd. So stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson and Hassan Levy. Pick out your new Outback and hit the road. And remember, every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersfield Auto Mall.
Through February 2nd, 2026, lease 2025 Outback Premium CVT, model code STD-13 for $229 a month for 6 months, $4,800 due at lease signing plus tax and license, security deposit, 10,000 mile year limit, 15 cents per mile overage, MSRP $36,506, VIN number S3333175, finance for well-qualified buyers only, subject to credit approval, offer ends 2/2/26.
You know, Michael, one of the things people don't understand sometimes is all the work that goes into making these awesome commercials. You know, you and I are out here, we get to do all the fun stuff, talking it up, having a good time. There's a guy that sits over here behind his computer, Rocky. Now, this guy, there's a true talent. We're just a couple of knuckleheads with some voices. This guy really makes us sound good.
Truer words have never been spoken. I've known Rock for a lot of years, and he is like Mozart with that computer. He makes everyone sound better.
So with that being said, one of the ways you get so excited about Salty's Barbecue is because of the great work that Rocky does when he puts together these awesome spots. I'm going to let my good buddy Rocky just say a quick hello and a big thank you to him. So Rocky, here you go.
Thank you, gentlemen. I truly appreciate those kind words, and it is an absolute honor to be able to knock these commercials out for you guys. And yes, they are not exaggerating because these guys are a handful, to say the least.
You can find us at 9425 Roselle Highway or 6801 White Lane. Or if you want, you can go to saltysbbq.com and order online.
Salty's Barbecue and Catering.
California Grill,
Texas approved. Oh, it's good.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults.
Hi, Daniel.
Don't use if allergic
Appreciate
to
it, my
Skyrizi.
brother.
Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability
Why
to
did you
fight them
put
may
this
occur.
thing on the front of
Before
your
treatment, get
t-shirts,
checked for
man?
infections and tuberculosis.
What's the matter with you?
Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or
wear it and
vaccine.
give me some free
Liver problems
advertising
leading to
tomorrow.
hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
I am going to wear it.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
So we've been following this Timothy Busfield story throughout the week. He's been charged with 1 count of child abuse, 2 counts of criminal sexual contact with a minor, a pair of twins who worked for him when he was creating a show called The Cleaning Lady. Maybe some of you have seen it. Initially made their what you have to know about this isn't something new. This popped up years ago, and Warner Brothers, who produced The Cleaning Lady, did an independent probe into this and determined that there was nothing there. Well, now these kids are 10 and 11, and their parents are now getting back into it. And according to police records, hospital staff told police that there were signs of what they call grooming. And he's married to Melissa Gilbert, the young woman who I told you I went to high school with and was part of Little House on the Prairie. She became a pretty decent actress. She had a decent career, not big time, but she became, and still maybe for all I know, president of the Screen Actors Guild. And she may be implicated in this as well in terms of what she knew. But here is the actor that you may be familiar with from Field of Dreams, 30-something, and ER. He played the pool reporter on ER, or not ER, excuse me, The West Wing, Timothy Busfield.
They're all lies, and I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it with a great team, and I'm going to be exonerated. I know I am, because this is all so wrong and all lies.
For his sake and for Melissa Gilbert's sake, I certainly hope so. I find it hard to believe that these kids would make this up. I truly do. Has it happened? Of course it has, but I just find that hard to believe. Meantime, as we talked with Nick Ragone yesterday, Brooks Koepka and others, including Bryson DeChambeau, are trying to make a re-entry back into the PGA, as Nick told us, because he's an absolute genius. Tiger Woods is, in fact, on the board and was, in fact, one of the pivotal people that helped this transition and make the guidelines that are going to help some of these players, but not all. And as Chris talked about at the top of the show, there are some strict guidelines that they're placing on Brooks Koepka. As much as they want him, as much as they want Bryson DeChambeau, they're still going to make these guys literally pay for it in penalties and in fees and in limited access to the tremendous money that's out there on the PGA Tour. Here is the greatest golfer who ever lived.
Well, we received a letter on December 23rd that he wants to come back. We went to the commissioner and Brian. We took that letter, then took it to both boards and tried to implement a plan that would be fair and adequate, that justifies Brooks' time away from our tour. The penalties served, the fines if necessary, what the integration would look like on our tour, and obviously the bonus payouts, yes or no. And we had lots of subsequent meetings, worked through the holidays, there's no days off, and we just worked through it day after day after day, and we came out with a plan that we unveiled. And yes, we're not going to satisfy every player. This plan was created for a very select few players that met the criteria. We know the names. And as far as his integration, he has the right, I think, in our sport with our meritocracy that we have on the PGA Tour, that he has the right to earn his way into signature events. And if he plays well enough, he has a chance to earn his way into the playoffs. But he's not going to get the bonus pool from that. But he has a chance to earn his way into those fields. Plus, on top of that, he's not taking a spot away from any player. Okay, that was one of the main concerns. And one of the big things that myself and the other player directors demanded that was not going to be the case. He's an additive. And then on top of that, to fill out the group, or if it's happened to be in someone was two sums or it happened to be was three sums, there's two more players that could be in. So the alternate list, I think they're going to be impacted getting in one or two more events, which is a positive thing. And on top of that, we get probably top three of this generation player back that went to another tour, played over there, and was adamant about coming back here and got out early to come back. That says a lot about the PGA Tour, where we're headed, what we have done, what we accomplished, and the players who have stayed, have supported the tour, have another world-class player that these guys are going to try and beat. That's what the fans demanded. That's what the fans wanted for our fan initiative program. And I think we've addressed that.
I apologize. I didn't know that audio was going to be that poor. But you heard what Chris was alluding to, and that is that limited money, the signature events. That's what they're talking about. Those big money events, Brooks Koepka, at least for the first year, may not be eligible for, meaning he's not in that money. And again, with the purses, all you have to do is play on the weekends, meaning make the cut. If you don't understand how golf works, you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The first two rounds, everyone plays. But then there's called a cut, a line, where if you're not above this score, you are disqualified and you don't play on Saturday and Sunday. They call it slamming the trunk, meaning putting your bags in your trunk, slamming the trunk, and driving off to the airport. And he's going to lose out on a lot of that. A lot of that. Meantime, Art Rooney II, owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, addressed the departure of longtime coach, only the third coach in Steeler history since 1969, Mike Tomlin.
It was his decision, and I will say that I wasn't shocked, but I wasn't expecting that conversation yesterday either. There were, when you get to this stage of a career, obviously, he even mentioned it himself that he was nearer to the end than the beginning, and so, you could see that coming, and so as I said, I can't say that I was shocked.
Would you have been willing to give Mike the extension on his contract for 2027 in March? Did he ask for that?
No, I'm not going to get into his contract at this point. I was certainly willing to, take another run at it next year with Mike, and that's what I was expecting to talk about yesterday, but obviously went in a different direction. Well, it was his decision.
19 years. That's a long, long, long time to be on one team. And now there are a lot of really good coaches out there. And wouldn't it be something, and I got to be blunt with you because I love Mike Tomlin. I got to meet him when he came out here. He came out here, he was at Luigi's, and I think it was part of either the Hoffman deal or it might have been Joey Porter's event that Joey used to conduct, where he would bring out pros. I met Jerome Bettis and a couple of other pros at Joey's event. It might have been when it was, but he's just a wonderful man and a stand-up guy. And wouldn't it be something if for the first time in almost 2 decades next season, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a winning season? They're going to miss Mike Tomlin. And somebody is going to get a really good coach. I don't know if he's a good fit for the Raiders, because the Raiders are going to get one of the best quarterbacks that we've had since Rich Gannon, in my opinion. And so it'd be nice if we could get somebody offensive-minded. I mentioned the head coach for the Miami Dolphins. What's that guy's name? I always forget.
Mike McDaniel.
I wouldn't mind Mike McDaniel being our play caller. I really wouldn't. That's why I'm hesitant about Harbaugh, as good a coach as he is. That's why I'm hesitant about Tomlin. We've gone the defensive route with Antonio Pierce and so many different coaches who were defensive-minded guys. The league has changed. The league has changed. It's like starting an NBA team and not trying to get three-point shooters. The game has changed. You can't try to, back when I was growing up, like many of you, you started a basketball team with a post-up center. That's where you started. If you had a post-up center, you could work around them. Now, you've got to get perimeter shooters. And in the NFL, the way the rules have changed, what they've done for quarterbacks and receivers, you've got to have an offensive-minded approach. I got to get out of here. Tomorrow, Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. We'll wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Hang on one second. God, don't you hate when you get on text streams?
What'd you say now?
Don't you hate when you get on text? What do they call them when it's a bunch of text messages?
Group
Bunch of
chats?
people, group chats, where your phone just keeps going off and off and off, and I don't want to talk to you people. It's stupid.
Mute it.
How do you mute it? I mean, I did. I turned my phone off, but how do you get out of the chat?
Oh, you can't get out of it. Well, you want to leave the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, you can get out of the chat. You can leave the chat.
How
or you can just mute that particular chat group if you don't want to leave the chat.
All right, so this isn't a serious group, right? This one?
Yeah.
Is it a serious group?
Yeah, it's Honor Flight.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. Don't dump me out of the chat. Just
I'm
mute
not
it
dumping
for
you
me.
out of the chat. I'm not doing dumping.
I don't want to be like Bailey. Bailey won't be a part of it.
I'm going to mark it to the top too, so you don't lose it just in case. But I'm